Welcome back to For the Record. Well, the newest candidate in the race for Dane County Circuit Court is actually not new to that court. Judge Ben Jones was appointed to the position when Susan Crawford left for a seat on the state's highest court. But now Jones is seeking that position permanently.
I started my legal career in private practice. I was in private practice representing small businesses, municipalities, and school districts. And that naturally led me to work at the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction, where I started while Tony Evers was state superintendent, then was chief legal counsel at the department for Carolyn Stanford Taylor, and for Dr. Underly before I was appointed to be judge in August of this year. And so why I want to run for election to a full term after being appointed by Governor Evers, the same reasons that I wanted to be appointed in the first place, which is Governor Evers in his appointment process was looking for public servants who had a handle on the law and who were good people. And I threw in to become a judge because of my dedication to being a public servant.
Obviously, a story that's made national headlines up in Milwaukee is with Hannah Dugan and her alleged helping of a man in her courtroom evade immigration agents. And I asked the same thing to your opponent, but if you were in that situation, how would you have handled that?
Right. It's an issue that our courthouse, the Dane County Courthouse, is thinking about a lot right now. And the judges have control over their courtroom, right? So we can control who comes in, who's allowed to stay within certain constitutional and legal frameworks. And so there are things that we can do as judges, like hold hearings telephonically or on Zoom, so that there isn't that risk of being intercepted on the way to participating in an important court proceeding. And then develop policies, and I can't, develop those policies myself as a judge outside of my courtroom as to what happens when confronted in a similar situation. But certainly it's paramount that people participating in court proceedings are able to do so without fear of reprisal, or else the system kind of breaks down.
And I want to talk to you now about political violence. It's something we've kind of seen a rise in the recent year. So earlier this year, the Joint Finance Committee rejected the governor's call to fund a force specifically for judges' security. Do you think there needs to be more protections in place for judges in Wisconsin?
The short answer is yes, and it's unfortunate. The threat of violence should not play into a fact finder, a judicial decision maker. It should not be a component in their decision making. In that, in order to make decisions that are lawful, that are just and equitable, and all of those things, a judge should be focusing on the facts, the law, and anything else that the parties will bring in argument. And the threat of violence hanging over proceedings, threat of violence to witnesses, threat of violence to litigants or to the judges themselves, distorts the way that the judicial branch is supposed to function.
And I want to kind of talk to, just kind of to wrap up our conversation, to touch a little bit on what you consider your judicial philosophy to be.
This is a broad generalization, but generally speaking, a philosophy that says, take into account all context when making a decision. Take into account the historical context of scientific context. To apply the law in ways that will affect real people.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us. We appreciate your time.
Sure, I appreciate it. Thank you.
And that was a condensed version of our interview. The full conversation is up right now on channel3000.com. For the Record, we'll be back after this.